The M42 Wireless from Xtrfy is their latest mouse to feature a battery slider to actually reduce the weight of their mouse. Yo, that just moves the weight around, it doesn't reduce it? No, that can't be right. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, but what if I slid it all the way to the back? Still the same weight.
Then my head hit the wall. Boom.
I'm getting my scales. Xtrfy have been cutting the cord on all of their mice, and the M42 is the latest to get the wireless treatment. Rather than reinvent their shapes, Xtrfy have stuck to what made their mice cult classics and tweaked and added some features to really elevate the product. The M42 was always my favourite shape from Xtrfy. It reminds me of a refined Zowie S2 with a reduced click height that helped me feel locked in and in control of my aim. Where the M42 is different is all the Xtrfy isms that give it a personality and a flavour all of its own. Firstly, it's priced at $99 and available in black or white as standard, though there are some customisation options and other colour shells available through the Xtrfy website. The box itself is discreet and modest and sports a flag proudly showing that the mouse was made in Sweden. Proudly showing that the mouse was designed in Sweden. While the box may be small, good things come in small packages, and Xtrfy have filled it to the brim with extras, but thankfully not too much plastic. You'll find the mouse, a spare set of skates, a wireless dongle and receiver, a flexible charging cable, an alternative palm piece, 2 Xtrfy keycaps, ABS, a screwdriver that kind of looks like it'd fall out of a posh Christmas cracker, and a small instruction tome to help you know what the hell you're going to do with all of these extras. At $99, it's certainly not a budget mouse, but it does have all the tech inside it that you'd expect from a mouse of that price, and manages to fit it all in at a total weight of 67 grams. While 67 grams is more than I expected or would like from a mouse of that size, I think you'd probably need to ask yourself the question, do you even lift, bruh, if 67 grams is considered heavy to you? What is disappointing to see though is, despite the 67 gram weight, Xtrfy haven't managed to ditch any of the signature circular cutouts from the shell. Arguably, holes on the clicks and palm piece are more of a first world cosmetic mouse problem, but at this point having holes on the sides of mice does grind my gears somewhat, and I think Xtrfy finding a way to fill the size would have had a big impact on my comfort and enjoyment with the mouse. As a short-term band-aid for this, Xtrfy have partnered with Lizard Skin to sell pre-cut grips for $15 a set. Pro tip, if you have grubby little digits like mine, maybe avoid the white. Just like with the M4 Wireless, Xtrfy offer a battery slider to move the weight backwards and forwards by about 10mm. I honestly felt no difference. It was fiddly to use, and I think it adds unnecessary weight to the mouse. Honestly, Xtrfy, I beg you, wrap your strong Swedish arms around me and tell me where the best place for the battery is for weight balance so we can remove this feature altogether and save a few grams in the future. It also uses what I'm going to call the Xtrfy Shuffle to keep the settings config on the mouse and remove the need for any software. It is a neat little feature, but means that you need the Rosetta Stone manual next to you to understand the arcane incantations needed to fully unlock all the features of the mouse as a consequence. And at this point, I think trying to avoid software is probably overcomplicating the solution. If the brand only had a few products, I'd kind of see the appeal, but now with Xtrfy having high-end peripherals of all types, slay me, but I don't think having a common Xtrfy software to sync all my products across devices would be that much of a bad thing anymore. Outside of these personal opinions, the mouse is largely faultless in terms of feel and performance. The main clicks are light and easy to actuate with a soft, subtle feel that meant I could hammer away at floating blue orbs all night without the risk of developing an RSI. The side buttons are large, well separated, and have a sharp actuation, where a lot of side buttons have recently started to feel a bit mushy from other brands. Finally, the skates are similar to what you'll find in other Xtrfy products, and whilst they are 100% PTFE, they are quite a bumpy ride, so your mileage might vary on these. Overall, the build quality is solid, considering it's another one of the growing trend of kit mice with modular interchangeable parts. They do go much further than most though, and actually include an alternate shape palm piece that completely changes the hump of the mouse. It feels substantially different in the hand, considering how subtle the different curve is. Whilst I don't imagine you'll be flip-flopping between the palm pieces on the regular, offering more shape flexibility on your purchase rather than selling you another full price shape variant is another good guy Xtrfy moment in my books. In terms of how I played with the mouse, it was a bit of a mixed bag. As I said, I really like the S2 inspired shape of the M42, and it suits my fingertip grip and hand size really well. The M42 occupies a void that not many other mainstream, easily available wireless mouse occupy. In fact, with the alternate palm piece on, one of the closest comparisons that I had to the M42 was actually the Final Mouse Starlight 12 Small, which, unless you have Jedi reflexes, you've probably not been able to beat the bots and grab one for yourselves at drop. Whilst the size and distinctive shape did work for me, what I think really does hold the M42 back is the weight. I did mention earlier that 67 grams is hardly a brick, and that is a fair comment, but the mouse is small, and that weight in the footprint that it occupies feels dense in a way that other mice with a lower weight ratio, like the Razer Viper V2 Pro, for example, don't. And that is especially felt if you went full Pepsi challenge with it and an ultralight small mouse of equal size like the Final Mouse Starlight 12. But it's not all bad news here. I reduced the frankly oversized 500 mAh battery by half and moved it back a little for better weight balance. I unclipped and removed some of the RGB weight diffusers because I'm not 12 years old, and removed the battery slider mechanism, which, as I said, I didn't find too much use in. Finally, I swapped the stock skates for my preferred Hyperglides. These completely reversible mods took my dad bod 67 gram mouse and left me with a lean 56 gram post-breakup monster ready to tear up some divorcees on Tinder. Whilst only 11 grams lighter, the improvement in feel was immediate and significant. I was shocked at how quickly it took the M42 from a mouse that I enjoyed using but didn't blow me away to a nimble, top-tier fingertip and claw mouse that I could absolutely see myself using as a main. Now, these mods are obviously not something I'd expect most people to want or care enough to do for themselves, but I wanted to try them not just for science, but to show that Xtrfy do have something pretty special with the M42 shape, and there is still a mountain of untapped potential for them to mine. If Xtrfy can continue to iterate on their mice, push weights down, lose the side holes, and explore some software solutions, then I think they have the potential not just to continue to compete with other brands in the premium peripheral space, but actually lead them. And if what I've been told is true, I think we have some pretty cool surprises coming from the little worker trolls in the Xtrfy factory in Sweden.